Lenny Dykstra has entered into the Dabbleverse. Here is a tweet from Lenny Dykstra last night. He says, my hardcore liberal friend Stuttering John offered me $250 to come on his podcast. Nails Nation, I need your help here. I'm a little slow since the stroke, but I'm praying one of you can help teach me how to say fuck you and stutter and nails out.
Wow.
It's awesome. John was teasing. I didn't play the clips, but I was watching his show. He's teasing, we're going to have a baseball legend on the show coming up. And I think it was with Clay, and Clay's like, oh, you're going to have the legend? I was like, no, a different guy. So apparently the legend was reaching out to Lenny Dykstra to get him to do John's show. They offered him $250, I guess, because here's another tweet where he wrote, Stuttering John's chief negotiator, who decided to block me after I declined $250 disrespectful offer. My man used a Google app number, which caused a 5 million hour delay in communication. Nails Nations, go get him. So this is the legend right here. And Lenny Dykstra's telling everyone to go after him for what he calls an insulting offer of $250 to do the show.
See, that's disappointing because that first tweet is a bit misleading. It sounds like he has a problem with John.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see what the story was from something in the past. Maybe John interviewed him on a press line or something like that. And it just turns out by the second one, $250 was lowballing him. Yep. And he felt that was an insult. That's all it was.
That's all it was. But now that he posted that, everyone from the Dabbleverse is going, yeah, Lenny also did this, he also did that. They're posting all these videos and shit like that. So it won't be too long until Lenny's doing a show about Stuttering John. Even Fireman John put, you think that's bad? This filthy fuckstick admitted this on the show, says he doesn't tell women he sleeps with, and that he has HPV went away. The good news is he couldn't get laid in a whorehouse with a fistful of $100 bills. So this is warning women of Florida. This man is a self-admitted HPV super spreader. And Lenny, quote, retweeted that with some laughing emojis. So welcome to the Dabbleverse, Nails. Also a Creep-Off Hall of Famer, Lenny Dykstra. So he's got that.
That is true.
So he's got that going for him, too.
But for some reason, I don't think this is the first time Lenny has turned down his show, though.
Yeah, I feel like there has been Lenny Dykstra, Stuttering John overlap in the past.
Yeah, I feel like someone's posted the tweets before.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
if you
Eric.
can grab it, it should still be up there, but if you can grab it before they take it down or whatever, the Lenny Dykstra test episode he did for Compound might be a good breakdown for you for one of your bonus episodes.
No shit. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, so Keith made this deal with Lenny Dykstra to have him come in and do a test show. We wanted to see if we'd have him do a weekly thing. And Keith said he wanted a certain amount of money to come do the test show. It was only like a couple $100. So, which is apparently was okay then, but it's insulting that John's asking, $250 to come on the show. So he comes on, does the thing, and then as he's leaving, he turns around to Keith with his hand out, like, "You owe me more money." And Keith's like, "What are you doing?" No, you said there was going to be more money. And he goes, "No, there's potentially more money if we sign a deal for you to do the show." That's not what you said. No, that's exactly what. So that's going back and forth. Lenny leaves in a huff. And then throughout the day, it's constantly sending shit posts and stuff to Keith and texts and just saying, fuck you. And then posting online that we didn't pay him. We owe him all this money. It's like, that's not what happened. And it kept snowballing as the day went on. And he had a spiral for about a week and then never talked about it again. But you can watch his show that was on Compound Media. That might be a good breakdown.
I'd love to see it. He is not a stable guy, and he does need money. He has lost it all. So
yeah, it was called Nails on the Rail.
Okay.
So
yeah, somebody posted it in our Discord. Beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Look at that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll definitely
Nails
check
off
this
the
out.
rails. Yes, there it is.
JT posting that in our Discord. Thank you, JT. He's on top of this shit. Gotta love this guy. All right. So John said one of the funniest things I've heard him say in a very long time on his show just yesterday.
Talk about. There's a reason why everybody watches me. I understand that. They watch me because I'm the most talented person in here.
Is his dentures not in?
He's taking pills.
I just heard that Howard Stern watches me.
You serious?
So John is claiming that he has a guy inside the Stern show. He's got his mole, and his mole's like, just so you know, Howard can't get enough of the Stuttering John podcast. He's watching it all the time. And so John has decided that this is his in. Him and Howard are going to be buddies again.
Howard, how are you? Beth, how are you?
First off, if Howard's watching your show, Beth's nowhere to be found. She's playing with kittens. There's no fucking way. She's like, oh, is John on? Is John on? She's running into the room.
She's in a different wing.
She's in a different wing of the facility.
I'm coming to New York, so hopefully we can bury the hatchet. I'll drive out to Southampton to see you.
Oh, will
so,
you?
Howard, if you're watching today,
To the Southampton.
I say we make amends, go back to the old days, have a few laughs.
How delusional. I mean, I'm saying this too much. I use the word delusional too much now. Yeah. But is that crazy? Just like, all right, I'll tell you what. I will actually drive to your house. I know you don't like leaving the house, so don't worry about it. I'll come over to your place. I'm surprised Howard didn't get an invite to the Belmont.
I know.
Oh, it'll be me and Dirty Deeds and Vince the Lawyer and...
Absolutely he would hop in the car if Howard said, come on up, he would drive the ridiculous. And it would be even funnier because if that was the case, Howard has a house in West Palm Beach, which is maybe 2.5 to 3 hours from where John is.
Yeah.
And he says, no, you come to the Hampton house, and makes him drive 2.5 days to get all the way out there, and then doesn't let him in.
Yeah. Well, John is actually in New York right now. He did this podcast yesterday, and then he flew to New York, and now he's at his mom's house. So that's why he's saying, like, I'm in Long Island. I can come visit you. And it gets even funnier than that. Like, he's already fantasizing about how him and Howard are going to now team up together.
He's dictating terms.
Yes. No, this is hilarious.
I mean, that's just me. I think at this point you could understand all the things that I did where I had to do.
All the things that I did, I had to do. He's talking to Howard right now. You mean like when you went on Adam Carolla's show and bitched about how much money they paid you? Or when you wrote in your book about what a piece of shit Howard was to you and how they treated you poorly? Because that's the stuff that's why Howard doesn't talk to you anymore, John.
There was no guarantee that I was going to make, the kind of money that I made on The Tonight Show.
Oh, but in John's mind, he's revised history here. He goes, the reason why Howard's mad at me is because I left and went to The Tonight Show. No, Howard still talked to you after that.
Yep.
You guys got dinner together after that. That's not what he's mad about. He was fine with you leaving the Howard Stern show. And by the way, the show got better. Richard and Sale came on board and the show got better. Ask any Howard Stern fan, they'll all tell you that.
And, Howie, I went to NYU for film and television, and yes, I graduated. And that was my passion, was to succeed in the highest regard. I was a big part of the Howard Stern show, and then I became a big part of the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. That's really unheard of for a stuttering, OCD-ridden Puerto Rican.
Why does he say Puerto Rican?
With smelly feet from Massapequa. That's just...
He says Puerto Rican like it's a bad thing. I'm OCD-ridden. I have smelly feet. I'm Puerto Rican. Like, whoa. What the fuck?
That's his other... I think it's you that coined that phrase. Is it his telemarketing script, or was that Shuley?
Shuley talks about that.
Telemarketing script.
Yeah.
That's his personal telemarketing script. That whole line, it would always ends with the smelly feet thing. That's his slug line. Like, that's the caption under his headline for all of that shit. And the way he tries to spin terminology as he talks, it's like it's when a dumb guy is heard a word and he's trying to remember how to use it so he could sound smart. And you could see the struggle in both how he's saying it and in his eyes as he's trying to put it out there. And you go, stop trying to be what you're not. Stop trying to use words you can't spell and come off as being intelligent. Also,
if he's going to talk about what a success story he is and how everything was up against him and he still was on Howard and TV, you talk about his low IQ, because that's really the most impressive thing of all. Not the smelly feet so much. You can put socks and shoes on. The fact that you're so low IQ and you had a career in show business is very impressive.
That would be the bigger success story.
That's what I mean. That's crazy.
Unheard of. So I overcame all odds to parlay into so many things, and then you get fucking Lady K, some idiot in a panel basement in Rochester.
I am living rent-free. He's talking to Howard Stern right now. He's literally having a conversation with Howard about, like, you can't blame me. I had to go to the Tonight Show. It's what I wanted to do for a living. And then fucking Lady K is in a basement. You're like,
So he's slipping.
I can guarantee Howard doesn't know who you are.
For sure, he does not.
Howard doesn't know who you are. That's exactly. He's addressing Howard by mentioning shit that Howard wasn't even asking or even curious about.
He can't stop himself because that's how he thinks. He's just like, as soon as he goes through that telemarketing speech about how successful he was and how amazing it is, he immediately thinks like, and there's this guy Carl who no one knows who's clowning me, and how does he have the right to do such a thing?
Giving you advice, Howie. Giving me advice. You and I.
Oh yeah. Let me back that up a little bit because
he's got kind of the Paulie Walnuts thing going there with his hair. Look at him.
You're right.
He's not aging gracefully.
But how many times has John talked about how Howard Stern's show sucks now?
Right.
Remember when they got rid of the news? He's just like, oh, Howard's not doing the news segment anymore. We do the news on this show. And now he's saying that I'm the one who's telling Howard that he's doing his show wrong.
Like you said, it's in his fucking book.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're all telling Howard he's doing it wrong.
He backtracked a lot last year with any kind of comments regarding Howard because Howard was getting a lot of shit for being super liberal and then having Kamala and all that. So then he never said a bad word about Howard at all because it fits the agenda that he's trying to be a part of.
Right.
To parlay into so many things, and then you get fucking Lady K, some idiot in a panel basement in Rochester, giving you advice, Howie. Giving me advice. You and I have done way more than any of these fucking losers. Can you imagine the audacity of Lady K to
spell it
and Honique and Alex Stein, who all he's ever done is copy me.
Now Alex Stein is another one of these guys who just copied John for his career. Alex Stein does a lot of things that John can't do any of them. So I love that all of a sudden now him and Howard are teaming up. It went from I heard that Howard watches me
level
to I'll come visit you guys. And by the way, we should probably team up and go after Lady K and Monique from Radio Gug. You ready? Let's do this.
He's got that in his head. I'll go into Manhattan. I'm going to sit there in the room. We're going to pontificate about everything. We're going to go. JD will bring in clips of Carl's show. We'll sit there, and this will fill at least an hour on Howard's show.
This is the thing that John does because of his narcissism, because he's a child, because he's 6 years old still. He fantasizes about things, and he does it out loud. Yep. He has these wild fantasies that he can't wait to tell you about, and I don't think any of these things are going to happen.
Scola!
So after he's talking to Howard, look at he's drooling on himself.
I mean, hell.
He just drooled all over himself.
But anyway, so Howie, I'm coming out. Hopefully we could hook up. And I'm glad you enjoy this show.
Could you imagine if he shows up in front of Howard's house like he did for Melton's house?
Right.
He's just showing up this big gated mansion in the Hamptons. He's got the fucking iPod deck above his head screaming.
I think a neighbor will probably alert authorities where Howard lives. I don't think it'll go down the same way it did in Vegas. Howard invites George Clooney and John Bon Jovi over to his house. John just drooled on himself and went, so when am I coming over?
I must have missed the invite.
It's fucking crazy. He lives in a whole different world than the rest of us. It's fun. So now John is obviously very upset with Chad Zumock.
Yeah.
And he's got the rumor mill going about Chad.
So Chadley's taking Ozempic. Chadley's taking Ozempic. What a pussy boy. Zumock. Oh, Zumock. Chad's on Zumock. Chad is taking Zumock. Wow, go figure.
You just gave Chad a t-shirt.
Go figure, Chadley. Wow. Let's see. Let's see, Chadley. Make sure I got everything out of there. What does that say, Chadley? What does that say? What does that say, Chadley? Don't give my info out, but Chad is taking Ozempic. Chadley's taking Ozempic.
This is right after John said he's the best broadcaster of the Dabbleverse, I want to point out. He's like, I'm the best at this. Everyone knows that. And then he's looking at his phone. And he's singing songs. He comes up with Zumock, because I guess the Z. I don't know. It's not that clever.
It's as damning as Chadley.
It's not that clever at all. But what we just saw was, if you're listening to the show, John got a $2 Venmo, and it says in the note, Chad is taking Ozempic. And so if the guy who gave him $2 said it, it must be true, obviously. John will run with anything. You can tell John anything.
This whole time I'm thinking like, all right, did Chad say he is taking it on his show? Like, nope. Did he post it somewhere? I'm like, all right, Chad must have a reason if he's taking it. Fucking
just someone just told him.
$2 Venmo.
Yep, so that must be the case.
Is the gospel.
These people
retard.
all do this shit too. It's so annoying. You're like, why are we just like pretending that people make shit up and it has to be true?
Even if Chad was, like, we don't know, but even if he was, look at the amount of probably like heart pills that John's taking every stream that he does, right?
Good point. You're just shoving pills in his mouth.
One of those pills was huge, like a dewormer or something, you know? And he's taking that on a daily basis, and you're going to shit on somebody who has to take that for, I think it's a diabetic medicine or something, right?
I think Eric's taking Ozempic.
No, Eric should
who
be
do you
taking.
Work for? He's taking Chad's side.
Eric should be taking.
I think Eric's
Ozempic.
taking is like, what's so bad about Ozempic? I think it's great. You know, people lose weight, they look better.
No, I look. I know I think it's a diabetic medicine that I know people use for weight loss and stuff like that. But no matter what it is, the point was he's taking a massive amount of pills every day. He has no right to criticize anyone else's medical stuff.
So I recently on WATP we talked about John doxing everyone, and he's out there. He's trying to dox OJ, and he's trying to dox Leo Gunn. He's doxing Kevin Brennan, and when he's not doxing people, he's talking about doxing people and threatening it.
All right, I see that fucking lunatic's fucking back at it. Dude, do you want me to release all the fucking shit on you? Seriously. Do you want me to release the state of New Jersey versus... I don't think you want that. You got a hell of a fucking track history, bro.
A track history?
You got a hell of it.
You got a hell of it? You got a hell of a track history. A hell of it. These threats that he does them all the time and no one ever cares. No. But he keeps trying. All right, so he's got some messages for Clay Dabbler. And, I've been complimenting Clay Dabbler lately. It probably doesn't do real well for their relationship when that happens.
And can I say something to Clay Dabbler? I love you, brother. I do. I know you're going to get your fucking panties all in a bunch, and I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. But Clay, I get that you gotta, and I don't mind arguing. I love arguing. I love arguing because I love winning. But the one thing I don't appreciate is don't start defending Leo Gunn. Don't start defending Paolo Carnevale when these guys have done nothing but fuck with my life. So don't be fucking telling me what I should be doing and what I do wrong. Why don't you tell them? And why are you always friends with Penis Wrinkle and Vagina Wrinkle on Twitter?
He goes, don't tell me what to do. And also, I'm going to tell you what to do. Why are you always friends with Penis Wrinkle on Twitter? Does John hear himself? He sounds like a child.
He doesn't even look at himself. The way he purposely has the low res for his camera and the poor lighting for his green screen, the way his jowls come out, make it look like he has mutton chops.
Oh, I think he missed shaving. No, I think there really is a lot of hair. He's really bad at shaving.
Oh, okay.
I wish he had the 1080 like he did for that split second when he got the new computer. Yeah, We're like, whoa, look at this fucking monster. Andy called it all those years ago. John is so hurt about Clay Dabbler.
What happens? Now you got Lady K and Sue. Oh, we like this Clay. He's fighting with John. Is that why? Are you like Vince? Do you want the love from Lady K and the shitware? Tell me. I don't give a fuck. Have that love. Have that.
Obviously. So in John's mind, everything that Clay is doing is to get into people's good graces rather than just like Clay calling it like he sees it.
Right.
Everything that Clay says to John is calling it like he sees it. He calls John out for falling for shit that he keeps falling for over and over again. And in John's mind, he's like, oh, you're just doing that so the shit whale likes you. No, not at all. He doesn't care about Shuli at all.
Clay seemed to have some sort of morals.
Yeah.
And said, don't dox everyone. And John said, fuck you.
Right. Not everything is like trying to be a part of a faction.
Right.
Not everyone thinks that way. Like John does, Chad does. Like there's certain people, Kevin Brennan, obviously. But Clay Dabler's just like, no, I'm just telling you that you're being ridiculous. You should stop. And John's like, I don't mind arguing because I like winning. It's like, then you're not understanding what conversations are.
And he's not winning either.
No, obviously not.
He's been going through this thing where he watches some kind of mafia movies and then he starts acting like it, right? He starts talking his speech. He gets this kind of machismo thing going. But that whole thing there, it's like you're talking to this guy. He wants yes men around him to tell him, yes, everything's great. He's acting like he's some sort of like mafia don, and everyone has got to kiss the ring, and everyone's got to just tell him what he thinks is right, and everything he's saying and doing is correct, because he can't handle whenever that Clay guy is on. Because when that guy starts saying things that we all know are actually true, he starts getting mad. Shut up! I'm trying to make a point. He can't.
One of the funniest things he said on the show we did yesterday, where he goes, I want your honest opinion. It's like, no, you do not. You want them to just nod along and be like, yep, you're right, John. And they're all wrong. Nailed it. So he goes through a long list of guys who he says, I never tell them to super chat me. And he goes through Dirty Deeds and the Legend. And he goes, I don't know why people are saying I tell them to super chat me. I don't.
Now, Leo Gunn, he starts this bullshit fucking rumor that I'm asking for super chats. Well, guess what, Leo? I haven't. And if I did, I was obviously joking.
We've watched John do this many times. Just like, where's Dirty Deeds been? Where's the Legend been? We're not getting any super chats. And he's just like, I never asked for super chats. Well, you do it on your show, John. We all see it. Well, if I did, immediately he goes, I've never done that. And if I did, he caught himself. Like, he knows he's done it.
I heard him saying there's a guy named Broccoli something, right? Or Broccoli.
Yeah. Broccoli, yeah.
I heard a clip of him saying, he's like, where have these people been? Where's Broccoli?
Yeah.
They just disappear. It's not like he's wondering where they were. We haven't heard from them in a while, because he finishes it up with, it's like, they haven't given me money in forever. It's like, oh my God, that's the only reason you know their names is because they were giving you money.
Correct.
Not that they were contributing to your show and giving you some content to go along. He's not concerned where these people are. It's like, you haven't paid me in forever. Oh, fuck off.
I'm an asshole.
That's right, Chad. That's correct. All right, big news. Big news for everyone in the Dabbleverse.
I have a big announcement. Stuttering John is returning to stand-up. I'm going back to my roots. I'm going to start writing.
Okay, so first off, those aren't his roots.
Nope.
He became a stand-up long after he started doing a stand-up tour. He decided to actually write an act after that. So
He's
that's
the
not his
epitome
roots.
of like, I can't do this anymore. I can do stand-up.
Right.
I could do a podcast. He's that guy that we all hate.
He is that guy.
How's he going to have time with his new job?
Also, he goes, I'm going back to stand-up. Like, you got some dates? He's like, I'm going to start writing. Jesus.
But you've got that big Super
I'm gonna
Bowl
get
ad.
on my boat, start riding. That's what I used to do with my boat in Bayville. Go by Sand City, sit there and write jokes. Mm-hmm. And that's how I slowly developed my act. I'd write them at home, and I developed a great act. And now I have an hour and a half of material.
Do you?
And all you got to get these guys who tweet me, that fucking squeegee bit sucks. So yeah, wait till you see me do it live. You'll laugh so hard your girlfriend will be in tears.
I can't believe he's defending the squeegee bit. I never thought I'd see the day.
He's been
You
mad with
hated
power.
that so much. Wait till I do it for you.
Yeah, wait till you see me do it live. It's like, the element of surprise is lost. I don't think we're going to think it's that funny.
Right. You could bring an actual squeegee and it wouldn't be great.
Missy B took a photo of him doing the squeegee bit. They were appalled at how bad that was. They saw it live. So.
He thinks that's like doing his big hit, where at a certain point in a band's career, they don't sing the song. They start it off and then just put the mic to the audience because the whole audience is singing the entire song.
Yep.
He thinks that, I'll just lift my shirt up and everyone's going to recite the bit as he does it. He'll just do the motion.
Yeah, let's go. The other thing that John does, and again, he's a 6-year-old child here. Everything that he does is what a 6-year-old does. he declares things rather than does things. Guys, I'm back in stand-up. You are? No, but I might. Why even declare that? Just do it. Just, I did it. I said the line part. Why even say I'm going to go back into stand-up? Why not write a bunch of jokes, put together an act, and then surprise us with a gig that you have or something? So stupid.
You see those, I mean, with all the streaming services, they love a sort of a comeback special when a comic who's not been doing it for a long time all of a sudden has a new special. They're willing to do it. They all have the same story. It's like, yeah, I haven't done stand-up in so many years, but I never stopped writing. You know, I've had years of material. I would sit there and write, and I finally like, you know what? I think I want to give it a go and go back at it again. They have that story of they never stopped the writing process. They had their notes, they had their jokes, whatever. They just weren't going out and doing it on stage or touring anymore. And now they're coming back, and that's when you get those success stories.
I
like,
saw Paul Rodriguez not that long ago, a few years back. And he was a huge comic in the 80s and early 90s. And he's been writing, he's got all new original jokes and shit like that. It's like, that's what these people do.
Yeah. You don't just like, I'm coming back to comedy. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm going to start writing again. No, that's not how it works. You should have been writing the last 10 years. And now you're like, hey, I'm going to go do small clubs and try it out and see if I have what it takes to move on to the next thing. Not that I'm going to start the process.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a Spotify deal for $100 million. All right. John's got a new scheme. He's got a new scheme, and he's got a brilliant idea here.
This is going to be mine now. For the Stuttering John show, this is what it's going to be.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Well, guess what, shitware? That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm getting the copyright attorney to make sure that my show cannot be rebroadcast and disseminated without the written consent of the Stuttering John podcast. Do you realize that's going to end you?
Now, how do I know that that's never going to happen?
I'll pay the money to do it, and I'm doing it.
All right, two things.
Definitely not. Yeah, please.
One, he already tried doing this.
Yes.
Remember, he used to do it live, like a live read at the beginning of his show, and he did nothing.
Yeah, he's done this.
Two, Dum here doesn't know by playing the MLB copyright is still against the copyright that they still can flag your channel and your video for being against the copyright.
That's hilarious. I was using it as an example. I was looking up to you guys. Come on. This is hilarious. This is how dumb John is right here.
I finally figured it out. Fair use is one thing, but not if it's a copyrighted show. And I'll pay the money. I don't care.
That's literally what fair use. It's part of the Copyright Act. It's a clause in there. He goes, yeah, you can say fair use all you want, but what if it's copyrighted? Like, no, that's literally why we talk about fair use. It gets around the copyright.
But Carl, he said he figured it out.
He's going to talk to an attorney and give him money. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, you don't go and play a full episode of a late night talk show, but they will clip parts of it to play on the morning shows.
Yes.
Because it's fair use, it's entertainment, maybe it's newsworthy or something. They can get around that by saying, here's a clip of Jon Stewart on The Daily Show. Here's Seth Meyers' headlines for something.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. They're not playing each episode every day where the copyright gets in.
It's crazy to me that John goes, I figured out how to get around this fair use thing. I'll have my show copyrighted.
Again.
Okay, so he's so stupid. And now he starts fantasizing about what's going to happen when he gets his show copyrighted.
You'll be paying a piper if you want to use clips of my show. You're gonna have to call me and ask me. Hey, can we use this clip from your show? Fuck you, pay me. Hey, can we use that clip of you drooling? Fuck you, pay me.
He
Fuck
just
you,
wanted
pay
to
me.
Use that thing of you singing, fuck you, pay me.
Eric's right. He just saw Goodfellas.
Of course. He keeps doing this. So this is now John's fantasy, is that Shuli's going to be calling him like, John, listen, I'm going to give you some timestamps. You can just give us approval on these. This is what Frog wants to play on the show today. John's like, all right, well, the drooling one's going to cost you $250. The snot in my nose, that's at least $1,000.
See, John's not entirely wrong, though, when he said, you're going to be calling me about my clips from my show. Yeah, they're calling to tell you that, hey, we played this one again today, or we played this one tomorrow, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. So John owes Vince money, as we all know, because there was a $12.5 million lawsuit. They settled out of court, and now John has to pay Vince in installments over 6 months. John has not paid anything yet. And he really, really wants to get out of paying. What I like about this clip is that John's trying to multitask. John can't even task.
No.
I think I heard Shuley say John's biggest enemy is multitasking. This is crazy.
He can't do one thing at the same time.
Right. Look at this.
It does suck. It does suck that you fucking, are going to hold me to this fucking money.
Oh, my God.
It does suck. I mean,
was he looking at his wallet?
That's what I thought. He's looking down.
it is kind of lame. If you're my friend and you're going to start charging me, really? I mean, I don't know. That seems like dirty, Like, you're supposed to be my friend, and then you're going to charge me. I hope you reconsider this. Because if so,
So now he's reading something.
I mean, maybe we can work things out.
Something that's bothering him.
But I mean, I think it's lame that you're charging me.
Now he's going to respond. Now he's typing.
I mean, you don't need the money. You just spent $5,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
$5,000. You charge me.
What?
5,000. I mean, sorry. You charged me 5 G's. No, I'm sorry. What the fuck am I doing?
What are you doing?
I hope Howard's still watching.
Paid 5,000 for UFC tickets, and you're gonna take my money?
So what he was trying to say, when he's so distracted by everything else going on around him, is that Casey and Vince went to the UFC match at Madison Square Garden last weekend, and apparently that cost $5,000. I don't know if that's true or not, but who knows? And so John's all upset that A, Vince has another buddy from the Howard Stern show, doesn't like that, and B, that Vince can afford these things and still wants the couple $1,000s from John that John cannot afford.
Clearly.
Obviously. So John's going on, and this is John being a manipulative asshole right here.
And you're going to take money from me on Christmas and less. Everybody, I want everyone to know, the Vince that stole Christmas wants me to pay him on December 26th. Right around the time I'm getting all my kids' Christmas presents.
He's a millionaire.
Bad liar.
We saw this coming.
Well, Vince isn't the one who wanted John to pay him on December 26th.
Nope.
Vince wanted John to pay him in October.
Yeah.
And November.
Right.
And December.
And
and
I
January.
think Vince said, and then I'm going to hear about this.
Yes, because John goes, let's make it the 26th so that I can get through Christmas. And now John's pretending that Vince is the one who set that date when it's just not true. And this is the way John thinks. This is why John said the 26th. Because that's a problem for future John. And I don't know that guy. Yeah. Like, John's never thinking, just like, as long as I can just make it a thing that's going to happen in the future, I don't have to worry about it.
But remember, he flexes that money is no concern. He's a millionaire. He doesn't have to worry about these things. We think he can't afford a boat. We think he can't pay his taxes or his electric bill and all these other things here. So why is this an issue?
Oh, it's the biggest issue right now. He talks about it all the time. It's weighing on him. He's just like, why can't you just not take the money that I owe you? I don't understand. What's the problem here? Now, if it were the other way around, it'd be very different. Oh. So someone tells John that Chad has a video coming up. I think Chad was sniping John during this show. And Chad made a video that was going to be coming up that has a title making fun of his kids. I don't know what it is because Chad takes all of his videos down, so I didn't see it. But I'm sure it was something about his trans son or something was the title of the video. And so what do you think John's going to do when he sees that? Do you think he's going to be a Karen and report him to YouTube?
Let's report this.
So he does this in real time. We watch him report this.
Let's see. Child abuse.
Up on the screen.
He just said, so he's looking at the thing when you go to report a video, you have to pick what happened that you're reporting. Listen to what he says.
Child abuse.
Okay, John, your children are all adults. I'm sorry to tell you this. I know you want to use this as a shield. It's not child abuse. Making fun of, I think the trans son is 30 or starts close to that. Calling that child abuse?
He might have that thing where, you know, people who have addictions and substance problems, whatever, they only tend to remember certain periods of their lives that had some clarity. So he may honestly think at times his kids are still like under 10 because that's when he was around.
He hasn't seen them since they've been adults. Yeah. So I understand that part of it. But yeah, he really does think that his children are children.
Yeah, if he's not around, they haven't grown up.
Right. Child abuse. He just reported it for her.
Next.
So John reports it and then?
Reported that one. Let's report it again.
He's going in and reporting the same video over and over again. And this is the funniest part. So Rob Saul comes on the show and John's all excited about this message he gets.
Here it is. Look, thanks for the report on YouTube. So I just reported Chad 4 times.
John got an automated message from YouTube. So when you fill in a report, you get an automated message that says, we got your report. Thanks for sending it in. We'll check on it. And John shows his phone and goes, look at this. YouTube emailed me just now. Fucking moron. It's not a good look to be reporting people either. I should probably point out.
No, and if they see multiple cases of you reporting the video and they find it not to be against the terms of service, that penalizes you.
Yeah, it's not child abuse. Dummy. There's no child abuse going on. It's a title of a video. You can say whatever you want. It's retarded.
Who are these podcasts? WA